This is a review of Survivor Season 47, Episode 12, Operation Italy. I'm your host, Dylan Barry. I'm here, as always, with Richie here with a full Survivor episode recap. We're going to do a Survivor press conference as well. If we could ask a castaway any question, what would we ask them right after this episode? We'll get into stock up, stock down, as well as, we're going to be at the final 6. I want us to each pick a winner from here on out. Next 2 episodes especially, see how it plays out, and we'll also predict who goes home, and we'll rename the episode, which we'll talk about it, but Operation Italy might be the most perfect episode name. Richie, this episode is technically the highest rated episode in Survivor IMDb history. There was that one tweet you sent me right off the top of your head. Did it meet those expectations?
I think you have to obviously exclude finale episodes because I don't think that's fair to put it up against that.
Yeah.
But I would think, without going super hard and looking back, I would think top 5 for sure all time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy watching it all unfold and play out, and so much goes on. To get into it, we are back from Tribal, where Kyle had just been sent home, so Sue happy as ever. It's funny, we get a little nugget there where Sue says that, Kyle was calling me and Caroline Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I think that was Rome rumor, which I wonder if that ever got cleared up because that just wasn't true.
Yeah.
It is funny that she was harboring so much hate for him, and she maybe didn't even realize that it wasn't real.
I mean, has any contestant ever hated someone more than Sue hated Kyle?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of any because,
and it seems like for no reason too. Not even any good reason.
Yeah, and it's definitely one of those where it's like every single thing that Kyle does bothers her, and it was a weird motivation. It wasn't found by any gameplay. She felt like she wanted him out because personal. It had nothing to do with the fact that he won immunity a bunch. She just wanted to get rid of him.
I wrote down the only other one I could think of was how much Naonka hated Fabio.
Yes, yeah, that was I mean, there was some severe bullying even happening in a couple of the seasons, back in the day. But it was pretty wild, and she continues to stay hype about it. We kind of see Genevieve playing a little bit of catch up. She kind of apologizes to Andy, but then also has this really intense conversation with Teenie, which we'll talk about Teenie for sure this episode. I don't know. What do you make of Genevieve? It really does seem like her trajectory, she's just so rattled socially, clearly, which is almost the reverse of Andy. We talk about Andy's arc. It's insane that someone could come back from that type of spiral. Because usually people spiral at about this time, and some people do, some people don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I get what you're saying, but I don't necessarily think she's rattled socially. I think what she's doing right now is trying to make amends with people.
Yeah.
And I think she's doing a good job with the way she worded everything in that conversation she had with Andy. That conversation she had with Andy right there, solidified to me she's been one of the best players of the new era so far.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, Genevieve to me is without a doubt the fan favorite. I still think, I think it's Rachel's to win from here, and we'll talk about that later too. But Genevieve, without a doubt, has just been the best person to watch. Has had a great arc. Has pulled off some amazing moves, and we're just kind of seeing her wrestle with game and social and figuring out how to balance it all. We get to the reward challenge. Reward challenge is very big and very important this episode. This isn't just a whoa they get to eat. This was a sort of season changing reward episode. And we get Jeff coming out right off the top, really diving into the details of this Italian dinner that everyone's going to be having. It's 7 of them going, only one winner. Of course, we'll know that winner will probably pick. Pretty good challenge. As far as, as a challenge goes. I mean, it was cool. Yeah. Sam gets a win. And then Jeff does the thing where he reveals that also family letters are involved. Do you like him doing it after? Because you kind of get that moment of Sue really gave it to us that was oh my gosh, what?
Yeah. It is tough. I kind of wish she would do it before because I think it does make them play a little harder.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
I
Yeah.
get it, and it switches it up a little bit. You just never know when it's gonna come if he does it at the end too. So kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, reveals it there in the end, which really puts Sam in this kind of crazy position. And I think he makes a really good choice. He takes Genevieve. That's predictable. But then Andy gets picked second, and the shock on Andy's face kind of matched mine. I was also like, oh, like
Really?
I knew that Sam probably had to make a play with someone.
Hmm.
I don't know why I
Yeah.
just couldn't picture that it would be Andy. And
See,
like,
it honestly shocked me that he took Genevieve. I understood Andy, and
mm,
Andy was the first person who I thought he would take, but I thought he was going to take Andy and Rachel.
oh, as a way to like
Hmm.
create favorite. Yeah,
Get the
because
yellow tribe back together. Yeah.
it was clear that he was at the bottom with Genevieve, and like they stuck
Hmm.
together. In the previous vote, and they're clearly they were on the bottom with Kyle,
Hmm.
and yeah, it made sense for him to take his ally and then take Andy. But like how it played out after that is just wild because they go to the sanctuary, and then Jeff does the thing where he holds everyone else back. And I think it's important to note. Then you get Teeny's kind of pissed off.
Hmm.
We haven't really seen this side of Teeny. We've seen a lot of like
Yeah.
nervous whatnot, but Teeny gets like aggressive and angry this episode, and she even says like, "I hope he enjoys the Last Supper." Like Sam just sealed his game is kind of what she says,
Hmm.
and it kind of gets everyone to nod and whatnot. Not in any like this has happened before in challenges where I thought like, oh no, yeah, this person is in trouble. Like they made the wrong pick. This was
Yeah.
one where I don't know why, but I was like, wow, this just feels sore losery, and it doesn't feel like this is
Oh,
going
for
to help
sure.
them at all. And
Yeah.
spoilers, but it doesn't help them out at all. What did you make of this kind of big angry outburst? Because we see it play back out again at
Oh,
camp.
dude.
Like
I
I
mean,
don't
it
know.
was
I just want to give you some
ridiculous.
space to share how you feel.
I mean, just it really brought me back to was it last year with Liz when she kind of had her outburst too?
Yes.
It's just like how entitled do you think you are that one that I mean you've never talked strategy or had any sort of relationship or alliance with Sam once. Why would you think he's going to bring you on this reward? Like you have no right to this reward whatsoever.
Yeah.
And she just thought that because she's her that Sam needed to bring her on this reward, and it's ridiculous to me.
Yeah. And I wonder like yeah, it's just weird. It was like a really anger. Like you see that
Hmm.
anger kind of happen a lot, but it was funny the confidence that Teeny was having of like, well, he's done. It's over.
Yeah.
Like I want him out of here. And then she was like getting personal with it. Just being
Hmm.
like he's this all American quarterback. Like it's just. And then
Yeah.
they kind of sprinkle in. They let her say at the end like, okay, yeah, I am jealous. I'm like, yeah, but dude, it is just not coming off good. And
And
yeah,
she even says at one point, she's like, I should stop before I say something I regret. I was like, you should have stopped 10 minutes ago
Yeah, yeah,
then.
I think she tweeted something like that. She's like, "I'm glad I took that minute because really it didn't do anything."
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. Back at the sanctuary, they get their family letters, and I don't know, how do you feel about family letters? It's not the same to me as family visits, and I mean, you
For
kind of
sure
get
not the
some
same, but
moments.
I
It is
mean,
cool to see some survivors get confidence, and get it back, and you
hmm.
kind of hear about their relationships. Sometimes that's cool. That hasn't felt super new with New Era. That's still something that I think needs some sort of injection of something. Do you make anything
Hmm.
else of the family letters?
I kind of like, I mean, maybe not even that they get confidence back, but like they almost get like a new will to like play and fight even harder.
Yeah,
Similar almost to if you would see them. And I kind of like the letters too because only they're getting it. Like at least with the family visit, like you still get to see them a little bit, even if it's for just the one hug or whatever you get at the beginning. Like in this one, the
yeah,
people back at camp they don't get any sort of anything, so
yeah.
it does make it a little bit different than a family visit.
Yeah, and of course the days too. We're on day 21, 22 here, so I mean it's
Hmm.
they're really 3 weeks into it, which is just probably as long as 4 weeks. Just imagine that 4 weeks. Again, they're going crazy. But this is when also we get the beginning as they're eating their Italian food, as they are having their wine, and as Sam is trying something new again in tiramisu. Operation Italy. We get this kind of Hail Mary move that you would expect from Sam. Sam
Hmm.
really makes all the right plays here, from picking
Yeah.
Andy to then pitching a game plan. And Genevieve and Sam are so good at being so open to like, all right, what
Hmm.
is it, Andy? And Andy is honestly has this fire in him too. That's like, yeah, no, I want to make a move, and he's being
Yeah.
serious. Like, I feel like usually the person in Andy's position is like, yeah, I'm here just to have a good meal, but I know who I'm voting for.
Yeah.
But Andy was
Hmm.
so open and ready to like, let's make a plan, and I think that is going to make Andy legendary. Like one of
For
these, like
sure.
especially his arc. But really, this
Hmm.
episode, like takes such a good turn. And we get these like the kind of jazzy music of an Ocean's movie with the swipes and the edits and whatnot, and it feels like a Survivor heist, as they said on the podcast.
Yeah.
What did you make of how this plan all came together and if it could work?
I mean, you hear them say all these things, and yeah, when you say it, it works out well. It's like game planning for a game of football. Like you have the game plan, it looks ready, you look like it's gonna go, and then boom, like whistle blows, and you got to actually play now. Same thing. Like I was like, okay, it all sounds good, but like who knows? Like when they get back, like who knows if Andy's actually being truthful? So
Yeah.
I was skeptical for sure when they came back from the reward.
Yeah, and they come back and they do it all, and they do a good job of showing us, like
Mhm.
Sam's being apologetic, Genevieve's building an idol with her feet. I think that's like at points. I don't know why. I just thought like, dude, that is
Yeah.
just she is at her wits end, and she's just like, I need to make this happen. Absolutely epic. And then Andy, they showed jump cuts of him being like, I think Genevieve has an idol. I think Genevieve has an idol, and you're going, oh my gosh, this is happening. Like they're working towards
Yeah.
it, and it really should be 5-2 right now. But like, it's just about convincing them of an idol and getting their votes to split. And
And it's funny because they never doubted like Andy one bit
no, yeah,
because he won. He never gave anybody a reason to doubt him prior in the season.
yeah,
And then two, he played that so well, like just the acting skills, everything.
yeah. And he could have double crossed and just been like, hey guys, I told them this story that like
Hmm.
we were gonna split the votes, but they don't have anything. Let's just put votes on Genevieve and let's move on. But no, Andy was
Yeah.
just like, nah, I'm gonna set something up here. And the target is Rachel, which I think even Andy is right on with that too. He's like, we
Hmm.
figured this out and we get out Rachel because Rachel is the person who needs to be out. I think
Yeah.
in this game, pretty amazing. Um, yeah. Then we get to the immunity challenge. The immunity challenge again. The stakes are like Rachel probably needs to win. Sam or
Hmm.
Genevieve feel like they need to win. We get a cool challenge here. We get this awesome like crossbar maze. I thought was pretty sick. The with the
Yeah.
warrior
New,
staff
something new.
where they're pushing the skulls down and then they get the balls down at the very end. Pretty good challenge. Thought it was well done. But yeah, Rachel comes out with another dub here.
I
Pretty
mean, part of that too is that like Sam and Genevieve, if they really wanted the plan to go through, one of them could not win this challenge.
yeah, that's true too.
And that's got to be so hard when you're in their position because you win and you're guaranteed to go to the next week, but you make this play and you might guarantee yourself 2, 3 more weeks.
Yeah.
So it's taking a big risk for sure.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that because yeah, that is the only way the plan could work. Because if it is just Genevieve, then
Sam literally tweeted that out. He was like, "Hey guys, this plan doesn't work if one of us win immunity."
yeah, that totally makes sense. And yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, Rachel won, which is good because it brings the threat level up for Rachel, but also is like, I think this was a clutch one for Rachel to win. Um,
For sure.
pretty
And she
good.
didn't even know it.
Yeah, had no idea because even if like, yeah, I mean, she definitely would have went home because she would have been the target of this. Now Rachel can be on her toes that anything can happen,
Hmm.
and Rachel also is in a pretty good advantage position.
Oh yeah.
Um, but we get back to camp after the immunity win by Rachel. Since she was the plan, the the vote now turns to Caroline or Teeny. Do you think it
Hmm.
was the right call to go, let's aim at Caroline, or do you think it should have been Teeny? I think it would have been Caroline because Caroline has Sue and Teeny has nothing. But at least
Yeah,
Caroline
I
has
get
Sue.
that for sure. And yeah, I think when you think about it like that, it makes sense. I think in the moment, I wanted them to get Teeny just because she was being so annoying.
Right.
But I think you can easily bring Teeny to the end and she gets 0 votes. So
100%.
I think it's smart to keep her.
Yeah. Yeah. Teeny needs to have like a big like finale from here on out,
Hmm.
whether it's challenges or blindsides or advantages or something. Like,
And like, I also wonder like why they never even thought about like trying to get Sue out either.
yeah. Yeah, I
That was a
mean,
little strange to me.
I think they're not intimidated by Sue either. And
Hmm.
like, but yeah, that's a good point. I wonder why it wasn't
I
Sue.
mean, she's the best physical
Yeah,
competitor out of her, Teeny, and Caroline.
yeah, yeah. Maybe Caroline had felt like a little bit like a
Hmm.
Genevieve, like that she was maybe pulling strings more socially at camp.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's wild. Andy, Genevieve like has to then convince Teeny that she has the idol. You get this kind of quick moment where it's like Teeny
Hmm.
kind of reveals that like they're gonna split the votes or they're all gonna put votes on Genevieve, and Genevieve's like, "Oh, good, let's
Yeah.
keep it that way."
Yeah.
A very intense Survivor moment where it just feels like, oh my gosh, everything is lingering on this conversation. They have to convince Teeny that the idol is legit, and they have to do it
Yeah.
quick, and they got to move on, and it works out perfect. Like Teeny eats the bait so
Hmm.
easily.
Andy walks up at the perfect time so Genevieve can put the idol
Yeah.
away, and
And then we get this like crucial last like little bit of camp here where Sue and Caroline are talking, and
hmm
Sue says we she says we need what's her name to use block a vote. Sue says what's her name 3 weeks in. Again, Survivor legend in my book. She's like, or I'm gonna put my idol on you, Caroline, which is like a whoa,
yeah.
that could have even went even crazier.
Hmm.
She's like, if I get a feeling in my stomach, I'm going to play it on you, which was intense, and of course would have been the right move. But Caroline, she acknowledged in a
Yeah.
confessional as well. She's like, oh, it sounds like I'm going to be getting a vote, but that's good because like I need people to think I'm a threat because like I can see the end and I can see the $1 million and yada yada
Yeah.
yada. Ultimate kiss of death. Um, of just
And they also bring up a good point too, like, okay, Genevieve thinks we're all going to vote for her. Let's let her play the idol, and then we all just vote Sam, and they don't have to split
Yeah. And then and Andy caught that plan too pretty well. He's like, no, no, no,
it.
we still
Hmm.
got to split it. We still got to split it. I figured
Yeah.
that he must have been like, here, let me vote Sam. I'll be the one. I'll be that third to vote Sam.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, and then we get to tribal council, and pretty standard tribal. Nothing real crazy. I
Yeah.
guess people talking about plans, but when we get to that final moment, I guess before votes are read, um, Sam like looks at Genevieve and they kind of act it out like, "Hey, play it," and
Man, that was good,
she's
dude.
like, "I don't think I need to," or something like that. Like I feel
She
good about
says,
it.
"I'll be okay with the outcome." She said, "I'll be good regardless." Like,
Yeah, which you have to, and they really did stay
yeah,
zen through that whole
they
tribal,
played that so smart, man.
and it worked, and it was so funny because it's just like we don't know the plan works until Jeff reads the votes. They don't know the plan
Oh
works.
yeah.
It's what makes Survivor great, and I get why this
Hmm.
episode is so highly regarded. It was epic. It was awesome because you get two
I think
vote.
that was one of the
Yeah,
first votes in a long, long time, like years, probably, where I like actually like I lifted up my hands and I was like, no way.
yeah, yeah.
Like I didn't think it was gonna happen.
They pulled it off. Andy gets
Yeah.
credit for a great move. Sam and Genevieve, we lost a weak player in terms of like Caroline. I don't think was even in the top
Hmm.
tier of people who could win this
Yeah.
game still, and so that means we got great players left in this game.
Oh, for sure.
I think outside of Sue and Teeny, but which Sue still has an
Hmm.
idol, so Sue is still like this dangerous
Yeah.
thing. Um, yeah, and a moment for Caroline though, like was an absolute sweetheart. It was kind of funny that last episode or maybe 2 episodes ago, she said something like,
Hmm.
"I want to go out like playing my game, not playing someone else's game." I think
Yeah.
she was playing someone else's game, even the way that like
100%.
Teeny was the one performing and being like doing her Sam impression, like Caroline is sitting there going, "Yeah, yeah, let's do it," or laughing, or being kind of along with the plan. You
Hmm.
got to make the plan. You got to like be aggressive with it. Loved her energy though.
And
Was a fine
I
plan.
don't know if you caught it too, but like as soon as it happened, like Andy goes to Tina, he's like, "I'll explain later,"
Yeah.
and you can tell that he says it loud enough so that the jury can hear. And they pan to the jury, and Saul goes, "It was Andy." Andy
Yes.
flipped again. So
Yeah.
Andy knows what he's doing, man.
Andy absolutely got points. This
Hmm.
episode, Caroline goes home. We're down to the final six. 2 episodes left. Let's do a little Survivor press conference. Do you have any questions for Jeff or questions for Castaway after this one?
My question was for Sam, and I would ask him if at any moment if he ever thought about giving the reward up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Hmm.
I thought of that too because because it's only 3 weeks in, and like we kind of in
Yeah,
our group chat joked about family letters and whatnot, that like I think it would probably be more painful giving up all that food than the letter. Like I like not to be
hmm
heartless, but like that one would be a little easier to give up if there wasn't such a giant
for
meal
sure.
and a good night's sleep too.
hmm
But ultimately it was a great
But
place
like
for
just
him.
in the spot that he was at, like send three other people, and then hey, now you're here with three other people that you aren't aligned with. You could then maybe hey, now we have a majority type thing.
Yeah.
But obviously, good thing he didn't.
Yeah. Pretty wild. Good question. My question is for Teeny, and my question for Teeny is Teeny, if you went on this journey or you went to the sanctuary with Sam, he picked you, would Sam have gone home this episode? Because
hmm
ultimately,
Mm.
did Sam make the right choice in
Yeah,
hindsight? Like, because I think if Teeny goes, I don't think he's convincing Teeny, but also the way that
correct.
him, Genevieve, and Teeny were talking and like kind of negotiating there at the end, I was wondering, I'm like, oh man, could they work together, or like what's
hmm
going on? I didn't know if it was a moment of frustration. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's what I thought, and yeah, that's my question. Let's go into stock up, stock down. Whose stock is up? Whose stock is down?
Stock up for me is Andy
Yeah, fair.
for sure. I mean, had a great episode, played a great role, acted well, did everything right, made all the right moves, and got himself bonus points for the jury. It seems like too.
Yeah, 100%. I think I'm going with Rachel. I think Rachel winning a
hmm
very clutch immunity with now
Ooh,
she has block a vote at 6 and
yeah.
then in her idol till 5. Really, you're one win away from going all the way, I think, or maybe even just getting to
hmm
fire making. And so I just think Rachel has such a clear path. And winning this one was so big because, yeah, now Andy's star, I think, is a little bigger.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, will Sam turn on Andy? Will they, yeah, will it won't be just like, let's get Sue out next or let's get Teeny out next.
hmm
They know Teeny's not getting votes. Like, it's going to be the
Yeah.
people, like, those conversations are coming up, but I think Rachel's in the best spot with all those conversations.
hmm
My stock down though is Teeny, mostly
Yeah,
for the
for sure.
energy and just who's left in the game. Doesn't have a chance.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I had her as well. I mean, you have an outburst like that, and I think it even like kind of rubbed some of those other people the wrong way, and they were just kind of being nice enough going along with it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Makes sense. Okay, let's rename the episode. Tough to Operation Italy is
Yeah.
what it should be named, but if we
hmm
had to, what would we rename the episode?
I went with underdogs in quotation marks because I hate when they talk about themselves as underdogs when they had a five-person like
That's
majority to
funny.
two. Like
Yeah,
you're not an underdog.
that's
Not one of
funny.
you were ever in any point in trouble of going home except for maybe Rachel at any
Yeah,
point in the season.
that's funny.
Yeah.
The underdogs. That's great. I went with sleeping with the fishes. Sleeping with the fishes. It was said twice, I think by two different people, but maybe they had said it to each other. I think Genevieve says it and Andy says it.
Mm.
Sleeping with the fishes. I just thought that was hilarious because yeah, it was like this Italian mob boss, job of
hmm
the Operation Italy, or you could call it the Italian job. That would be another one. That's kind of
Oh
that
yeah,
would work too.
I
But
like that.
sleeping
Yeah.
with the fishes. All right. Well, with six castaways left, 2 episodes left. Richie, who do you think is winning this thing as of right now? Like
Oh,
who
it's
and
so
and
hard, man.
and like yeah. What? How do you see it
I
happening
mean,
for
there's
that person?
four really good people. I think that have a really good chance, and I would love a final three to have some combination of Rachel, Andy, Genevieve, and Sam. Like, I would
Yeah.
love for it to be all good players.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get that. I think either Teeny or Sue will get brought along for an easy win or an easy beat.
Yeah.
Um, I think I'm going to go with Sam. I'm going to make a bold prediction.
Yeah.
I don't think he has the best odds right now, but I'm going to pick Sam to win it all.
Yeah, I think Sam's a good choice. I'm sticking with Rachel. I think Rachel's had a great
hmm
season. Like I think had a great edit,
Yeah.
but if it's not Rachel, I think it's Genevieve. Like and because I don't know, Genevieve also
Yeah.
has had a really good edit and has had so many great moments too.
hmm
Yeah, just a really great. It's a good season. Like I think we will be happy with whoever wins in terms of
Yeah.
if
Oh,
it's
for
one of
sure.
those four, it'll be like yeah, they probably earned it. And
The
there's a lot
the
of battles left.
hmm The only thing I can see that doesn't work in Genevieve's favor is kind of what she talked about, not making a lot of close relationships with people.
Yeah.
I think that could hurt her trying to win votes from a jury. Where I feel like somebody like Sam, really close to a lot of the people on the jury, very friendly to a lot of them,
Yeah.
except for Teeny if she makes it to jury.
Yeah.
I think he could win a lot of votes that way.
Yeah, and people I feel like tend to stay loyal to the people that like Sierra's gonna be like, dang Sam, like you lasted so
Oh, for
long, like
sure.
I
Yeah.
couldn't, and so
Hmm.
like it's awesome that you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that pick. Well, who do we think is going home
Hmm.
next episode? I kind of think two people are going home, so it might be the same situation like last week where we might be each picking the right person, or only one of us will
Yeah.
be right. But I'll let you pick first. Who do you think's going home next?
I'm gonna pick Sue.
Ooh, all right.
I think everyone's gonna say get so caught up on Rachel. I think they're gonna try to go for her heavy. That's what it looks like, and I think she'll play an idol. Maybe Sue won't play hers because she doesn't think it's her, and then she goes home.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. I could
That's a
see.
tough one because I mean,
I kind of.
yeah.
I could definitely see a path. I think it's probably Genevieve. Like but like
Hmm.
at the same time, Genevieve I know has the fake idol, which everyone
Hmm.
thinks is real, or at least Teeny
Yeah.
thinks is real, and she didn't use it. So it's like, oh well, Genevieve might have an idol, but they might not buy
Mm.
that, and it's just like let's throw votes
Yeah.
that way. Because I see like Sam winning immunity, and I see
Yep.
Rachel protecting herself. But the block of votes everything, and if it's played right, um, I don't know. I see it somehow still
Hmm.
ending on Genevieve. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Two great episodes left. Two 2 hour long episodes left. So we might go a little long here too.
Yeah.
Richie, thanks as always for joining me.
Thank you.
Let's do it again next time. See you next episode. Survivor 47.